So Ashley, what's your story?
So, my story is it starts back in elementary school. Um, Basically, I was bullied throughout elementary, very much went into high school, and basically that unraveled my whole story of wanting to end my life. Basically, in a sense. People think my life has been easy and it's not, it's I don't even know how to explain it really. Um yeah, I was always wanting to be one of those kids that, I thought I would be one of those popular kids back in school, and I tried my hardest to be part of the cool kids, but that led my the rabbit hole down of me wanting to be not here anymore. And that also went into me, having drug use problems to also wanting to die, right? So, um,
So you think it all began in when you were younger in school and
yeah,
sort of stemmed all from the bullying and from
yes,
not feeling accepted.
yeah. Basically, I was one of those girls had glasses, and I didn't want that to bother me, and I tried to be regular, like the regular kids, but I wasn't. I was in an alternate program in school. I have some disabilities, so basically, me being in the alternate program really made it easy for kids to bully me.
And so that continued throughout middle school and then into high school. And then when you got to high school, how did it go from there? Did it get worse?
It got really worse. It got so bad that there was a problem that happened in high school where I was SA'd by an ex boyfriend, and that really made me want to be done with life. And there was about 10 times I tried ending my life in high school.
Were the attempts were they like right one after another? Were they close to each other, or was it sort of like through the whole 4 year span of high school?
It was the 4 year span of high school. I would say the most prominent of me doing it was in grade 8, grade 9, grade 10, and grade 11. And it was very much so me trying to swallow pills. And every time my mom caught me and took me to the hospital, and they pumped my stomach. And then it went from even pumping my stomach to me using a pocket knife. And you don't see it now, but this whole arm, my left arm, was always with wraps on my arm because I had tried, carving stuff out of my arm.
And do you think so? This all stemmed from, like we said, that event. Um, was there more stuff in addition to that throughout high school that kind of contributed to all those
Well,
subsequent attempts?
yeah, so the essay by my ex boyfriend, and then my biological dad came back into my life, which really messed me up pretty badly. Um, Him coming back into my life, and then also reliving all the trauma from having hmm, sorry. um I have so much trauma from being essayed as a baby as well as a teenager. So both, the trauma from that is I was trying to numb all that pain. And it always like I was always bullied for being that weird kid, I was not the same. I was not a normal person. I was not normal in high school. I was the outspoken one, the dramatic one, you know what I mean?
Sure. So so there's you were assaulted when you were a child too, like when you were a baby.
From So basically I was a baby. I was assaulted as a baby, and I was assaulted in high school, and I was assaulted before high school. I was in elementary school too. So I've been assaulted throughout my whole life, basically.
Got it. And so that, even though you were a baby, like when that took place when you were young or when you were a childhood, that maybe wherever that took place, you still have memory. Like I don't know about in memory, but you still have like the conscious awareness of those events.
Yeah, I have severe PTSD from all of this. Um, that ultimately led me to using, and then trying to, I would say, every year try to end my life. And yeah, pretty much from elementary school to the end of high school, I tried ending my life every chance I got.
And has that continued to present day or
It continued until I turned 20. I'm 30 now, so 28. I It finally ended at 28.
was it just the life experience that you kind of learned how to cope with it, or was there
No,
something
it
that
was basically I got clean. I got clean from using drugs, and I had got tons of therapy, um, and and my friends.
so the getting off the drugs was the big part, and then
Oh,
you
definitely. My drug use was a big part of the. I don't know how you say ideation or ideation of wanting to end my life. Um, I'm clean now for 2 years, so I have been I haven't harmed myself in 2 years.
that's great.
That's wild. I'm sorry. That just makes me think that's crazy. I haven't hurt myself in 2 years. That's amazing.
Big. I think it's a big big accomplishment. And maybe you don't think about it until you're sitting here talking about it. Because it kind of you know
It brings a lot of things back. Like, I mean, this is great. I love sharing my story, and I'm grateful for that. It's just I gotta call my counselor later. Not in a bad way.
do you feel on more of a positive note? So you feel today that you've kind of obviously since the drug use stopped overcame all that, and so now it doesn't the suicidal ideation doesn't as much happen, or does it still happen to you? Or
It happens to me. Well, actually, funny story is yesterday. Yesterday was the very first time I had thought of hurting myself in 2 years, and I have severe borderline personality disorder, so that really adds into, um, that really adds into the want to hurt yourself kind of thing. Um, I mean, I don't do it. It's just those thoughts that creep back into your head after 2 years of not wanting to hurt yourself, and it's kind of a weird feeling. I mean, take it as, say, you haven't ate ice cream in so long, right? And then all of a sudden you eat ice cream again, you're like, oh wow, I forgot what it feels like. You know what I mean? That's the only way I could describe it, is you basically don't really feel, it doesn't feel real until you think you're going to do something, and then you have to make tell yourself don't do it, because it will bring back really unpleasant feelings.
right. So when you say it's sort of like eating ice cream when you liken it to that, is it a like when I think of that or when I hear that I think of like, oh, it's like I crave ice cream, like a craving. So
Yeah,
is it like a craving where like the thought comes in, you're like, oh my God, I want to hurt myself, like that's how it is, or is it more of like just a passing, like a thought that
it's
comes?
like a craving. I know it sounds weird to explain it that way, but for me is I have a very high of addiction in my life. I have an addiction, a very addictive personality. So for me, hurting myself is like an addiction.
Is it so? Is it the physical sensation of the pain, like that kind of redirects whatever
Yeah.
emotional pain, or is it more of the sense that you want to escape and
No, it's to get rid of the pain. It's to numb the pain. It's because in my body, there's, when, we have a heart, and it feels like my heart's shattered into a million pieces at times. And it's like you want to dig that hurtfulness out of your body, You want to you want to save your body and you want to protect it. And that's what it feels like to me when I'm hurting myself is I'm protecting myself, which is a weird concept, to be honest. I know it sounds weird, but that's how I see it.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything weird. I think that, I mean, what's weird, like in the conventional sense, what society thinks is weird, but I mean, everybody's their own person. Everybody perceives things differently. Everybody suffers differently. So, maybe that's just the way that you kind of cope.
Yeah, definitely.
What would you say to somebody if somebody's watching this who is going through similar things? What would you recommend to them? As people that are experiencing these suicidal ideations, they don't know what to do.
Hmm.
A lot of people that watch this that reach out and they're like, I never knew that other people felt this way. I thought that I was the only one feeling this way. And so many people have said that to me, in messages and comments
Hmm.
as in the videos that, we've received that they don't know. Before watching the videos, they didn't know there was other people that were experiencing almost exactly the same feelings they were.
Right. I mean, sorry, I'm gonna get emotional for a minute. I would definitely say if someone's going through this, reach out. Um, reach out to your friends, your family. I mean, I don't have. I would say friends. Definitely reach out to your friends because I am grateful for my friends because they've stuck by me through a lot. Sorry,
Yeah.
it's crazy. I hid my pain for years until I finally was able to be strong enough. And I told my friends, and all my friends supported me. And, I would say you're not alone because I thought I was alone. And when I found your page and reached out, I was like, wow, some people are going through exactly how I'm feeling. And, speak up because the more you speak up, the more you're able to get that help because if you don't speak up, you're just hurting yourself way more than you think.
Right. That seems to be one of the really common themes too, almost maybe the most common that people who are suffering from suicidal thoughts
Mm,
have is that I, it's in almost every story. It's recurring that people try to
yeah,
mask it, and the masking, I guess it's called masking. The
yeah.
masking seems intentional. And for in your case, what was the masking? Were you trying to? Was it like a perception thing? You didn't want to be perceived a certain way, or was it just that you didn't want anybody to know that you were suffering and you really just didn't want to be here? Because
No,
I
so great question. Great. I love that question. Really love that question. So it's masking. A lot of the things is I don't know if you've heard of borderline personality disorder or ADHD or whatever, or people with autism. There's a thing called masking. So basically, we hide our true selves because we don't want people to think we're crazy. So basically, I'm smiling, I'm all happy. That's for show. But in reality, I'm feeling, oh my God, like, what the hell am I doing? Like, why am I talking about this, right? But it's to help people. It's because masking has been the coping mechanism for a lot of people with ADHD, with bipolar disorder, with everything. Masking is something to help us cope so people don't truly see what we are like in real life, if that makes sense.
sure, yeah, it does. It makes complete sense, and it seems almost from an outsider's perspective, it seems almost detrimental to your health because if not just you, just speaking generally now to
Yeah.
anybody who has done this because so many people have that I've spoken to, it seems detrimental to do that because you're hiding what you are suffering from, and if you didn't hide that, then there's the opportunity for somebody outside to help. If that makes sense.
Well, the thing is, with masking, yes, it's great, but the other part is if if there were people to show who they truly are, our mental health system, I'm saying as somebody who does not live in the States, just saying, I'm in Canada, our mental health system sucks. Very much so. If we all showed our true colors of our mental health, I don't think there would be a single hospital that did not have the capacity of all the psychiatric people that we have. Yeah, I don't. If that makes sense. In sense of basically like, say if I were to truly show who I am, I don't know if people would want to be around me.
Why do you think that people wouldn't want to be around you? Do you think that people wouldn't accept who you are, or do you think that, like, why do you think that?
Because I know for a fact that I have told, I used to go to camp, when people go to summer camp, blah, blah, blah. Um, I used to show people who I truly was. And that got me nowhere. That got me not getting friends. That got me not having people understand who I was. So when I started masking who I was and showing people what they truly wanted, I got to be friends with them. But then little by little, I was not my true self. So then I was like, you know what? I'm going to be honest, and I'm going to see what they do. And to be honest, I do have those friends still because we've been friends for 17 years, and they've known me for truly who I am. I've never hid who I was from them. It's so weird. I don't know. I was always taught to be my true self, but when it came to my mental health, I hid it because I didn't know if people understood what mental health was and how severe it could be. And so when I finally was able to show people who I truly was and they understood, I did hide myself. So it varies for people. And for me, I now can show who I am truly because I love talking about myself and I love talking about my story. But if 10 years ago, if I ever thought I would be able to do it, it would be no chance that anybody would want to be friends with me.
Right. So it's a protective measure.
Very, very much a protective measure.
And do you think so? Other people who are suffering from suicidal thoughts and all that, the level of masking that they do, specifically masking like the suicidal thoughts, like instead of asking for help, do you think it's sort of the same thing? Like they don't want to be perceived as weak. They don't want anybody to think they're crazy. Or do
Yeah.
you think that they really want to succeed in their attempt and just don't want to be around? They don't want anybody to stop them because I've heard both sides of it. I've heard that, hey, I just really wanted to die, and no, nothing anybody said ever would have helped me, and I was masking because I really wanted to do it, and I did not want anybody to intervene. And then I heard other people say, I was doing it because I just didn't want people to think I was crazy. I didn't want my friends to see me differently. It was a perception issue. So there's kind of like that both sides of the coin, I feel.
Oh, wow. Wow. Yeah, to be honest, we now hear a lot of stories like, those. I don't know. Honestly, for me, oh, it's hard to really talk. Like, for me, I think for me, the most thing was I was scared of what people would truly think about me if I showed them who I truly was at the time. But looking back at the friendship I have, and I will say there's these four best friends, like five or six of these my best friends that truly know who I am. Before, did I hide who I was? True, sure. But looking back at now where my life is, and 10 years ago, I don't know if I would have those friends still. Like, I always tell them, I was like, do you guys, if I ever told you guys truly what was going on before we were like best friends, do you think we'd be friends now? And they definitely, I've had the answers of, we don't know. We don't know if we would have or not because you were honest with us. But the friends I have now from like a couple years, I never hid from them. And I said, if I had ever told you about my mental health, do you think we'd be friends? And they said no. because you at least were honest with us and you never hid who you were. But that's weird because when I was masking in high school and throughout my adulthood, I still got friends, but the thing is I'm an honest person. I can't always hide who I am. That's the problem.
And maybe it is that there is no real answer. I mean, maybe there's no set in.
Maybe there is. Maybe I'm not the person to give that right answer, you know? All I can do is I can give you answers that I've from experience of what I've experienced.
Right, and that's the whole point of
Yeah.
this. There are no answers like set in stone. This is just
Yeah.
this is just a discussion, for you to put your experiences, which is immensely helpful to X amount of people that are watching this, because who knows how many people are going to see this video and look at you and say, "Oh my God, that's me. It's literally me." It's happened, you know, so many times before for all from the stories I've posted so far. So many
Yeah.
people reach out, like I said.
It's crazy you say that because, a lot of, when I even started my own podcast, I had so many people message me and be like, oh my God, I didn't know you went through that. And what you've talked about is so crazy. And, that's the whole point of, I feel what my life is supposed to be, is helping others understand what they're going through. And no, I'm not a professional. I'm not a psychiatrist or nothing. I just can share my experience and hope that other people can take what I've been through and maybe help them out a little bit more.
It's interesting because so many of the people that I have spoken to, recorded,
Hmm.
messaged, just in passing, and I don't know how many people I've. It's probably in the thousands. So many. It's these people are suffering. They try to take their life at one point in their lives, maybe multiple times, and then their first instinct after is to always, always, always try to help other people from not going through what they went through. And it's interesting to me because you're at a point, you get to a point in your life where you're at such a low, and
Hmm.
what you want to do is end your life. But the second that you get out of that, the only thing you want to do is help other people.
I totally agree with you in that sense because let me just say this. The last time, like when I was at active addiction, right? I overdosed 6 times. I overdosed and then um I got Narcan 6 times and I got brought back to life and the next day the hospital let me go, which is crazy, right? But as soon as I got out, a friend of mine had overdosed right then and there and I helped her. And that made me realize I was like, crap, I really need to stay alive. And that was also the next step was also I would say this is family. My niece and nephew and my sister have really kept me going through all of this. I mean, I don't have the easiest family here, and no one does. But I will say my sister and my niece and nephew and my foster mom have been my rock through all of this too.
Your support system is one of the most important things in your recovery.
I would say it is because if, I have those friends, like I said, I have these 6 very close best friends. If I didn't have those supports, the family or whoever your family is, choose your family. It shouldn't matter who you have as family. As long as they care about you and they want the best for you, that's all you could ask for.
And so you think those feelings still do come, like you said, in passing. And then
Oh, yeah.
when you get those feelings, is it more like a thought today? Is it like, oh, there's that thought again, and then now that you're kind of just equipped to deal with it, and you kind of could just navigate through it, or does it get to the point ever where it's still seriously a consideration for you?
It's serious consideration for me because I won't lie, like I'll say this, like a couple weeks ago, I was going through a really rough time, and I just moved. There have been times I have been very willing to, end my life, but there's that little voice on the side of my head now saying, Ashley, talk to someone. Don't do it because you're gonna regret it.
Yeah.
So then I get on the phone with my support group, my support friends, and all that. And I'll be like, can someone call me? Can someone please just check up on me in 10 minutes or so? Make sure I'm still here. Can someone come visit me? Because that's what my friends do now. Like, I had so many people come to my old place and stay with me and take me on walks and stuff just to make sure I was okay for a couple hours.
That's great. And so I guess the last kind of question I have here before we wrap things up is if somebody if somebody is watching this and they're in that position where they feel like they're on that ledge that you've been on that you were on a couple weeks ago and they haven't been through an attempt and they're not able to see that there is a light at the other end of that, what would you say to them? What do you recommend they do to try
Oh,
to overcome that?
well, I will say this. I do open up my. I'll say this. If you guys want or need someone to talk to and you feel alone, I am always available to talk to you. I always say this to people. um, I mean, I don't mind people reaching out unless I'm going through something, but I would definitely say, definitely reach out to someone. And if you're thinking, call the hotline, call someone because trust me, you don't want to be alone because even though you feel alone, trust me, there's someone out there that doesn't want you to die or be gone. And that's me too. I don't want anyone to have to go through this. It's not something that is I don't want you to leave. Like that's the one thing I would say is don't leave. Choose happiness. I know it's so weird to say, but it's hard. It's hard as I don't know. I would just say reach out to someone, and if you ever need someone, I'm always available to talk to. That's what I say.
No, that's great advice. Well, listen, thank you so much, Ashley, for sharing your
Yeah.
appreciate it. Thank you for coming in and yeah, thanks.
Thank you, Joe.